Do you ever find yourself getting really stressed out when you're trading? Because I've been trading for the past 10 years and I've made millions of dollars in forex and crypto and stocks. And over the past 5 years, I have yet to have a moment where I really get tangibly stressed out while I'm trading. My trading approach is in fact so peaceful and so simple and so rudimentary that it barely requires any thought. And it's crazy because I've been able to get these results doing a fraction of what most people do. Like I get 10 times more results by doing like 10 times less. And the crazy part is that here in my Telegram channel where I share all my trades live, the way that I trade is basically just black and white charts with little lines or zones where I think price might bounce. And I use the higher time frames like weekly and daily chart. And it's basically just buying at support and selling at resistance. And doing this over the course of the past 6 months since I started this account, this is the account that I'm currently trading on right now where I'm calling all my live trades. I put a $350,000 deposit. I've made $340,000 in profit before the swaps and commissions, which are pretty heavy. This is a broker that I trust and they take a lot of swaps and commissions and you get what you pay for. So with that, that's still a nice little decent profit. And I was on a $120,000 win streak before I lost $80,000 last night. And then currently sitting in profit about $20,000 at the time I'm making this video because USD CHF has moved into more profit. So what I want to do here in this video is I want to show you how to simplify your trading approach so that you too can trade peacefully. There is no room for trading with a complicated strategy that stresses you the hell out, that does not allow you to operate around your time constraints or capital requirement or psychology. The way that I approach things is a way that most people can approach if they just simply duplicate what I'm doing. And again, I've been showing this for years. I've run this free Telegram channel for 8 years. I'll put a link in the description if you want to join it. You can just follow my live trades and analysis in here for free. And I'll show you the exact thing that I do. So let's start with an example of the trade that I lost last night, 2 trades that I'm in that are currently in profit, and then my outlook for the rest of this week. I feel like that'll be a great, easy way for you to like see this happen in real time. So the trade that I lost last night was Euro Canadian dollar. So let's first look at the reason why I took this trade. We're going to start here on the weekly chart. And on the weekly chart, whenever I was first looking at this when price opened, price was down here this week. Okay, so what had happened is price came up into this zone. And then when it came up into this zone, I thought that it was going to bounce there. Now, why did I think it was going to bounce? Whenever we take these little zones in here, you don't even have to use lines, right? You can use a line, you can use a rectangle. I think it's a little bit easier if you're using zones like this, like little boxes, because it allows you to kind of encapsulate more price data. Once you've been doing it for a while like me and you just know where the regions are, you just put a line there about halfway in between wherever the zone would have been. And instead of having a full zone, you can have an exact area. So, but again, I recommend you just start with a zone when you first do this. This kind of just allows you to encapsulate more of the little wicks and the closures. So here's an area where price had bounced at multiple times in the weekly. We had a big bounce here, a big bounce here. We broke above, had a bounce there the first time, and then we had another bounce here the second time with these 2 candles. Then we went higher, we came back in, bounced again, bounced again, bounced again, bounced sort of along these little wicks right here before breaking below. Then we came back in here and started to bounce again last week. So I actually entered this trade towards the end of last week, I'm sorry, but the candle opened up this week, with this current weekly candle. And now you can see that the trade that I took, which we'll look at the exact specifics here, the exact moment I called it. So it's right here, Euro Canadian dollar. Let me go to the original trade, short on Euro Canadian dollar. Here it was. You can see that all I did was when price got to this resistance zone, I entered a sell. I put a stop loss way above the zone. And I risked $50,000 in this because I risk about $50K to $100,000 per trade right now. The range can be anywhere. Honestly, it's anywhere from 25 to 75 on average. Sometimes I'll risk a little less. Sometimes I'll risk a little more. But the amount I risk on a trade depends on the quality of the trading opportunity and the likelihood that I believe, based on my subjective judgment and intuition, experience, and discretion, that price is going to actually move to a profitable location. So I chose to risk $50,000 on this, and I just use a 1-to-1 risk-reward ratio. Generally, what I try to do is I try to get out of trades a little bit early when I'm wrong, and I try to hold them to the profit target if I'm right. That's a general rule of thumb. I don't always do that. Nothing in trading is black and white. Nothing is absolute. It's all kind of up in the air based on your applied experience. That's what allows you to have your edge in manual trading, is using your experience to make those discretionary, intuitive, subjective, discretionary decisions. And that's what I do. So in this case, price came up here into the resistance zone, started to bounce. So you can see I entered this, and it looks like it was this week because that was last week's weekly candle. This was the current weekly candle at that time. So I entered this week. When was this? Let's look at the timestamp. 4/6/26. So this was 2 days ago. So it's Wednesday today, so this would have been on Monday. So entered that trade, and then what I did is I added to it as price pushed a little bit deeper into the zone. And my 50K risk, I added an additional $30,000 of risk on this. So the risk became $80,000. I thought this was a great trading setup, and I stand by that. I wouldn't have done anything differently. I don't resent anything. If I win, I don't get too happy. If I lose, I don't get too sad. I'm only right about half the time, and the only reason I make money trading is just because I make a little bit more when I happen to be right versus the amount of money when I lose whenever I happen to be wrong. And as you can see from the P&L in the past 6 months and me sharing all these live trades in Telegram, $347,000 before fees and commissions. So with that, I entered this trade right here and I added to it. And this is what it looked like at that time, because the Euro CAD was floating around the break-even point there, and it was negative 10K on the first entry. So about 20% of the way to the stop. And this ended up not working out. So Euro CAD ended up smashing above the zone, hit the stop losses. And now all I'm doing is I'm waiting for it to either come back here into this zone, then I'll look to buy right there. And if we don't come back there into that zone, and if instead we just go further up here, right, we may have a little pullback, but if we go up here, then I'll just be looking to sell at this resistance zone. And it's just the same thing over and over and over again. I just make a little bit more when I'm right versus what I lose when I'm wrong. I'm right about half the time, wrong about half the time. I try to get out of losing trades a little earlier. I try to get out at break even or halfway to the stop if I'm wrong. And then if it goes to the profit target, then I try to hold it all the way to the profit target. Generally speaking, right? It's not that way for every single trade, but generally speaking. So that's why I'm not worried about this, and that's why it doesn't bother my peace, and it doesn't screw with my mental environment, and doesn't put me in a psychosis whenever I lose some trades. It is what it is. Price just goes up and it just goes down. You just have to follow price around, buy at support, sell at resistance. It's very simple and very basic. So the other trade that I'm in right now is Euro AUD. I want you to look at how simple this trade is. Now, if we go to the little boxes, to the little box thing here, we draw the zone right here, and the reason I've elected to draw the zone right there is because this is the region where prices tended to bounce at a lot of times. So bounced once here, it broke above the zone here, like liquidated through it for a couple weeks, came back down, but then we bounced here, 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 even though we had that huge wick here, here, and then we broke above, came back, tried to bounce there, failed the bounce right there back in February of this year, came all the way down over the last few weeks and then popped all the way back up and then started to reject here. Now, this is a trade that I shared last week, and I was in this trade, and this trade is what actually made me $100,000 last week. So this was it right here. Excuse me, this was Euro CAD. Sorry, it was the same exact setup as Euro AUD. Excuse me. We will cover USD CAD here in a second. That is so hilarious. It's literally the same exact setup. Okay, Euro AUD. So it was not USD CAD. Wow, that was a huge F up on my part. Euro AUD, here we go. Here's the trade. Okay. So at 6:57 a.m., it looks like this was on Monday, I believe. Yeah, 4/6/2026. So this was Monday. So I got short on Euro AUD right after I got short on Euro Canadian dollar. And this is what the trade looked like. So if you look right here, this little same zone that I've drawn, kind of hard to see here in my actual trading terminal, but you can see it here on the chart. I entered just because price came up into a resistance zone. So it came up into a resistance zone, it looked like it was going to bounce because we had some rejection. So I entered after this rejection because this was last week's weekly candle and it rejected, and then I entered and then it started going into profit since Monday. So currently as it sits, whenever we go here into my actual live terminal at this exact moment, the time right here this morning, it's 9:27 a.m. I posted this at 8:31 a.m. So about an hour ago. So this is what it looks like right now. Euro AUD, it's about maybe a little over a third, almost halfway to the profit target basically. And so that's that. This is on Euro AUD. And how simple it is the fact that when you just go to the weekly chart, you can see the areas where prices bounced at pretty clearly, right? When you just look at some basic areas, you can see, okay, price bounced here a bunch of times, had a liquidity spike above this region, but still closed with a little wick, and then we bounced pretty cleanly here over and over. Same thing with this right here. Price bounced here a couple times. Where exactly would you put the zone? I don't know, maybe something like that. We bounced here, 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 then broke below. And then the same thing as where I have this alert down here. I have an alert down here to let me know if price gets to this region. Prices bounce here, support a couple times, right? Arguably resistance as well. Resistance, support, and then we have support, support, support. So it's just likely if we get into this region, we might see a little bit of a bounce where we can buy at support, or we can do like I did right here, we can just sell at resistance. Okay. I do use price action context. That just means when price gets into a zone, if it looks like it's starting to fall away, I can just get into a short position. Very, very simple, very, very basic. It's not hard. You just need some experience doing it. You get experience for like 3 to 6 months doing it on a demo account. If you can get at least break even doing that, which quite honestly, being break even is not hard. What do? You enter random, like blindfold yourself first, then enter random trades with a 1-to-1 risk reward ratio. Roughly half of them will go to the stop loss and the other half of them will go to the profit target. This is very, very basic, right? This is like 50-50 chance. Then what you do is after you start getting some experience, seeing what types of trades end up going to the profit target and which types of trades end up going towards the stop loss and not working out, you can start closing the losing trades early based on your suspicion that they're going to continue to the stop loss. You can start holding the winning trades to the profit target, and in some cases even adding to the trades that you think are going to win. So you can add a little bit more volume to represent that the amount of risk that you're putting on the trade represents your conviction in the fact that it's likely to go into profit. So then you make more on your winners and you lose on your losers. So I've just chosen to sell at this resistance with a stop above and a target below at a 1-to-1 risk reward ratio. Very simple, very basic. Okay, now let's look at USD CHF. This is a trade that I just took this morning. You can see where I called it out here. I put, I'm long USD CHF with $50,000 risk. And again, this was about an hour ago. It's 8:30, it's about 9:30 right now. So about an hour ago, I called this. And I also posted here in my free Telegram too. I'll show you where I put it up here. Euro AUD is in profit. Euro CAD hit the stop loss last night. USD JPY is almost ready. And then we come back here. I think that USD CHF is better than USD JPY. So this is the one I'm going to be taking this morning. I don't call my exact trades here in the free Telegram channel. I mean, I post enough to where you can be able to find the trades yourself. Like I post the analysis, I post everything. I say, hey, look, looks like it's ready. So you can be the judge as far as to entering your own trades. But if you just want to outright copy my trades and follow my trades, it's not a signals group, but I don't tell you what you should do. I say what I'm doing in here. It's kind of like a personal trading journal that you get access to in real time, where you can see exactly what I'm doing. And if you so believe, you know, that the price might do the same thing that I think, then you can enter the trades too, and you can structure the risk however you like. But I share all the real-time exact entries with full P&L, everything. Again, every single one of these trades you see here for the past 6 months since I started this new account last year at 350K, I basically almost doubled the account before swaps and commissions. And it was more than doubled after this Euro CAD trade here. Before this happened, because this was an 80K loss. I'll make it back with profit, right? It's just a matter of time. Probably take me another week or two, maybe a couple weeks, and then I'll be back in profit. I'm trying to grow this account to $1 million by the end of this year, right? And the returns are not that crazy. 350K to $1 million, that's maybe like doubling, like let's say tripling the account roughly. That's what I'm going for on this account. I'm doing it all live just to show people like, look, I've been trading live for the past 8 years that I've been teaching. I post all the trades I take in real time. I show everything, the win streaks, the losing streaks. I have been celebrated and praised as the Messiah and the Savior whenever I'm on win streaks, and I have been crucified, just like Jesus, when I'm on losing streaks. I know what it's like to go through all the ups and downs. I don't make it look like I'm taking a $100 account to $100,000 every month. That's just not the reality of trading. I get pretty basic returns. I have high risk on small dollar amount deposit, because for me, I trade with millions of dollars in trading capital. For me, putting 350K into an account and growing it, that's a small percentage of my trading capital. And I split my capital between forex and crypto and equities, so stocks, mostly the S&P 500. So for me, even if I blow this account, it's not that big of a deal in terms of trading capital. But I do that, I start an account, and then I try to grow it to show you the realistic part of trading, going through the win streaks, going through the break-even periods, going through the losing streaks, and I do it all live right here. So I'm trying to get this account to $1 million, and I just do this by following this very, very basic trading approach. You can see here how I've structured the USD CHF trading opportunity. I bought here at support, I put a stop below, I risked $50,000, I set a profit target at about 1-to-1 risk reward ratio, 50,000. This is 51,400, but I mean, you get the point. It's close enough, right? That'll at least cover some of the commissions and swaps. If we go up and hit the profit target, be able to cover some of that. So it's basically a 1-to-1 risk reward ratio, buying at support where price had bounced once, twice, 3 times there, 4 times here, 5 times here, broke below, came back up, retested as resistance and rejected hard right there, broke back above, found support once and bounced up, and now we've come back here into support. I just think that price just might, just maybe, potentially, possibly, hypothetically, figuratively, bounce at this support zone. So what did I do? I entered a buy, put a stop below and a target above it, 1-to-1 risk reward ratio, and I risked a dollar amount I'm comfortable with. Most of you are probably not going to be risking $50,000 per trade. You probably haven't been doing this for a decade. You probably haven't been profitable for the past 8 years, more or less. You're probably not trading with millions of dollars of capital. So guess what? Don't risk 50K per trade. Risk maybe $50 per trade, or $500 per trade, or $1,000 per trade. However much it is that you're comfortable risking, given the total amount of capital you're trading with, your risk tolerance, and the leverage that you have with your broker. So if you want to risk, say, like $500 per trade, you should generally have 10 times the amount in your account of whatever your risk per trade is. That can get you through a 10 trade losing streak, which that's probably going to happen at some point to you, but it's just very unlikely. And so even if that happens and you blow your account, that's why you just start your account with a smaller percentage of your capital than you have. So if you got 50K to trade with, I would only put 10K into an account, honestly, and just use the high leverage you get with forex trading to be able to risk whatever you're comfortable with trading. So if you want to risk $500 per trade, 500 times 10, it's $5,000. Put $5,000 in the account and then just risk $500 per trade. Some people will scoff at you and say, oh, you're risking 10% of your account. But what they don't know is that you've only put a small percentage of your trading capital into that account, so that if anything happens, the worst case scenario is that you have 50K to trade with and you lose 10K of that money. Okay, you've lost 20% of your capital. But again, what is the likelihood of this happening? Right? It's very low, right? And even if you can just double that 10K account and grow it to 20K over the course of not even 6 months like I've done, but over the course of a full 12 months, over a full year, you've grown 10K to 20K. Okay, cool. You've made a $10,000 profit on a total amount of capital of $50,000, or a 20% return in a year. And you've done this using structured risk, and you've done this by using your experience and using your discretion, getting into trades, controlling risk for every trade, trading through all the ups and the downs, letting all the stats play out and come out profitable. Only a small percentage of people can do this, okay? If everyone was going to be making $1 million trading, right, we'd see a lot more profitable traders, but we don't. We see single-digit percentages of people who are actually profitable trading. Forex.com says about 70% of their clients lose money and about 30% of their clients do not lose money. Let's round that down, right? Let's just take a third of that and say 90% of people lose money and only 10% of people do not lose money. And then let's just round that down. Let's cut it in half even further. Let's just say 5% of people are actually profitable. How many people are actually profitable trading? Like, it's probably like low single digit percentages, anywhere from the low to the mid percentage range, like 2, 3, 4, 5% of people. It is what it is. It's not something you can do if you're a complete idiot and if you don't structure risk. You have to approach it the right way. In my opinion, you have to keep things really simple and control risk, because trading is already as complicated as it can be. That's why I do nothing but just use black and white charts, and I just buy at support and sell at resistance. Take it from me. I've tried all sorts of trading strategies. I've tried most of the trading strategies online that you are probably trying to learn right now. Nothing has worked as well as just keeping things simple and controlling risk using support resistance, entering at zones, putting a stop loss past them and a target at 1-to-1, and then managing the trade dynamically on the higher time frames based on what happens, like closing the losses a little early, holding the winners a little bit longer. It's very simple. It's very straightforward, and it's the only way to trade peacefully, in my opinion. So this is USD CHF, and if it bounces, I'll make a profit. If it starts breaking, I'll try to get out early, and if not, it'll hit the stop loss, and I'll lose 50K. It is what it is. So a couple other trades I'm looking at. USD JPY, I think she might bounce here at the support. You can see where I've got my zone here in the weekly chart. Very, very basic. This is what it looks like without the zone. This is what it looks like with the zone. Super, super basic. Price has found resistance here a couple times. It leaked past the zone just a little bit right here, but then we broke above and we found support here pretty consistently. The reason I haven't taken this is because I'm in USD CHF. These are correlated pairs. If USD JPY breaks through the zone and goes down, so is USD CHF most likely. They're going to move in a correlated way because they're both USD pairs, right? USD is in the base currency position. So it's in the first little part here on the currency pair, USD CHF and USD JPY. So you pretty much overexpose yourself to taking multiple trades that are correlated assets at the same time with the same risk. So I just don't do that. I just enter generally 1 to 2 correlated assets at a time. And if I do enter 2 or 3 at a time, I just lower the risk per trade. That way, if all of them don't work out and hit the stop loss, then I just lose whatever amount of money it was my risk tolerance. So if I was going to take both of these, well, instead of risking 50K on this, I would just risk 25K on USD CHF, and then I do the other 25K risk on USD JPY. You're basically taking the same trading opportunity. So when it comes to correlated assets where you got like 5 currency pairs that are correlated, all setting up at the same time, my opinion is best to just pick one, the one that you think has the best risk structure and looks the nicest, and just trade that one. That's just me though. Euro AUD, we've already talked about this. This went into profit. Euro Canadian dollar, this, we've already talked about this. This hit the stop loss. Euro GBP, I missed this last week and I have no good reason why. I missed Euro GBP. I should have sold here at this zone and I didn't. I don't know if it was just because I was in other pairs last week and I thought it was going to break or something, but I didn't take this trade and I paid the price for it. I've missed out on at least $50,000 from that. Another one here that was hilarious is GBP USD. This set up last week and it had started to bounce here and I missed the zone. Then when it came back into here, I ended up not even buying. So then the market opened here on Monday. It opened above the zone. I had an alert here earlier this week because I was going to buy, but it never came back to the zone. It ended up staying there on Monday, closing, rocketing up on Tuesday. And now today, Wednesday, we've rocketed up even higher. This would have been a pretty easy $50,000 profit for me, but instead I made nothing. And when we look at the zone here, look at how clean it is. Resistance here, support here, support here. It broke below, came back, tested as resistance, and started to bounce initially right here, right? Started to kind of bounce away, but then was like, nope, and jumped right back above, came all the way back, and then we bounced, had a nice clean bounce here on the test. This is why I just use the very obvious basic zones. They work out really, really well. As long as I remember to actually take the trade, which, I'm not perfect. I miss trades and I have no good reason for missing EG or GU last week. USD Canadian dollar is the setup that I was showing you at the beginning of this video where I screwed it up and thought it was Euro AUD just because it was the same. When we look at Euro AUD, it came into a resistance zone, started bouncing. When we look at USD CAD, it came up into a resistance zone and started bouncing. That's why I got confused with it. But basically, I sold this last week. And when I sold right here at the zone. My trade was basically like this. And I showed you there in the Discord a second ago. But I ended up entering a sell up here. I had my stop loss just above the zone right here. And I had the target at a 1-to-1 risk-reward ratio. And so it went down, hit the profit target. I made $100,000 on this one. And this was an amazing trade. One of the biggest ones in my trading career. I think my biggest trade ever, I made like $130,000. In a single trade. And that was about a month ago. I made a YouTube video about it. And this was USD Canadian dollar. So I entered, I'll show you where I entered it originally. Let's see where I actually called it. USD CAD. So here we go. So I'm short on USD CAD with $100,000 risk. Let's look at the timestamp. Monday, March 30th, 2026 at 7:46 a.m. So I posted this in here. USD CAD is ready. I'm entering a trade now and I'll post it below as usual. This is what it looked like on the weekly chart. So I entered a trade there. This was the EJ trade that I hit the profit target. So that was another one. So onto USD CAD, this was what the trade looked like when I entered. You can see I sold right there at the resistance, literally at the exact point where it was starting to bounce as resistance, support twice, resistance again, then it came back in there again. So I sold at resistance. This is what it looked like in the moment that I was holding it. It went into drawdown. At this point, it was in $23,000 of drawdown. And then she started to bounce right here. You can see we got pretty close to the stop loss as well. Realistically, I probably should have had my stop loss a little bit further, but either way, it would have worked out either last week or this week because now it's gone into more profit. Started going into profit, $25,000, and then started going in even more profit. It was in $63,000 right here of profit, and you can see it started to just bounce there at the zone. But look how simple it is, right? We didn't really do anything magical. We waited for price to get to a super, super clear resistance zone, right? It doesn't matter if it's support or resistance. In this case, it happened to be a resistance zone. We sold at the zone. We put a stop loss above the zone and a target below at 1-to-1 risk-reward ratio. It is not complicated. And I'm not leaving anything out. That's all I do. Legitimately, follow my live trades in Telegram, my analysis, and in my Discord channel, and you'll see, that's all I do. I don't do anything crazy, nothing wild. I just buy at support and sell at resistance. And it works so well, probably because it's doing way less than what most people are doing. Less truly is more in trading. I'm a firm believer in that, just because of my results and the people who have been following me and my clients who have been learning from me. I've taught 4,600 people over the past 7 to 8 years. And nothing has worked better than just simple support resistance zones. So in this case, it starts going, it almost met the profit target, $91,000. You can see it was right there. And then as it went down to reach $100,000 profit, I closed it right there at $100,000 profit. And you can see it was a 1 wick kind of trade, right? It took a couple days to do that. Hit the profit target. You can see right here, $104,000 plus about a little over $5,000 in fees and commissions. So net after that, I came out on top about $98,000. And after taxes, that's probably going to be about maybe $60,000 total profit. So for me, because I'm in the 37.5% tax bracket. So still, even after fees, commissions, the wait time, the profit, and then the taxes and everything, it'll be like, yeah, around 60K whenever it all kind of baskets out. So super, super nice. This is what it looked like at that exact moment. $350,000 deposit, had that sweet $428,000 net P&L before fees and commissions. And then, of course, after the losing trade last night, down a little bit from that. But still, all the stats work themselves out because I just keep doing the same thing over and over again. USD CAD, even if it didn't hit the profit target this last week, right? It just came back into the zone for a couple days, and now it's gone back down. It would have hit the profit target, and it actually went even further. And all I did was I just found this super clear support resistance zone. A zone where price had bounced at multiple times over and over again. And I sold when price got into that zone. I put a stop loss above the zone and a target below. And that's with a tight stop too. Like honestly, my stop probably would have been better off being a little bit further, and it still would have hit this week. But that's just the way I elected to do it, and then it all worked out that time. So it is what it is. That's USD Canadian dollar. That's why I took the trade. That's a breakdown of it from last week. It was a very nice trade. As far as this week, I don't really have any other setups I'm looking for. We've got AUD USD here at a zone, but it's already bounced there over the course of the last few weeks, so I don't know if I'm going to be taking a trade there. GBP NZD, I've got an alert here at these little highs of this resistance zone right here. I think this would be a nice place to enter a sell whenever price gets there, so I'm looking at that. NZD JPY, see nothing at the moment. Same on NZD USD, AUD JPY, nothing. GJ, nothing. EJ, I see this resistance zone right here, but honestly, I think she's going to be going up just because we've been in a nice uptrend for so long. And then on top of that, we have all these higher lows getting created here. You never know exactly what price will do, and that's okay. But I think that in this case, I'm just going to use my discretion and say, I'm not going to try to chase a sell on this. It just looks too bullish. GBP Canadian dollar, this looks really nice. I'm looking to either sell here at this resistance, which is probably most likely given where we're at right now on the chart, right? Otherwise, we're going to drop all the way back down to here, and I'll look to buy at that support. But it's very simple. And again, like that's literally all I do is I just draw support resistance zones on the chart, and then I set an alert at the next resistance zone and the next support zone, assuming there's actually two of them. And then it is what it is. So I just do that over and over and over. So as we go down here, we'll go down to the next one. Euro USD. I got a zone right here, but I don't see anything. I'm going to actually take these off. And I'm just going to draw this zone down here. This is the one that seems to be the most clear. So I will be waiting on this one right here. This is the one that looks the nicest to me. Drag the alert down just a little bit. So I'll be waiting on that. I don't think it's going to come there anytime soon. This is a weekly chart. It could take like a month or 2 months or 3 months or even more to get there. So GBP AUD, nothing for me. I've tried to find a zone in this region, but I just don't know exactly where it would be good to put it. So I've just elected to not draw a zone there because it's just not clear to me. CAD JPY is really nice. I'm looking to sell here at this high. So if we can get up there and start to hit that area and start to bounce, I'll look to sell, stop above, target below. AUD Canadian dollar, I'm not in a trade on this. I don't see anything on it. So I'm just going to be leaving it alone. We have a resistance zone where price is at kind of like right now, but it's just not clear enough for me. We've got all this like price like jumping past it over and over again. We've got these highs here, but then we've got these sets of highs. I don't know. To me, I just don't see anything. So now we have CHF JPY. I think it's in an uptrend, so I'm not going to be looking to sell or do anything really. I don't have a clear way to control risk, so I won't. Now, a lot of people ask, like, does it work in crypto and stocks and everything else? The answer is yes. Support resistance works in every market. It's the idea that price bounced at an area before, so it might bounce there again. Because naturally, it's where people just take profits. Everyone else is looking at those levels. They're looking to take profits at those areas and then get short at resistance and buy at support. So it just creates more pressure for price to go up or down. So in this case right here, price came to this little support zone, and on Solana, I've been adding in and DCAing in since we've been going down at all the next support zones. My first small entry was right here around this zone. So whenever price got into here, and this was around the October 10th crash, or October, I think it was, yes, October 10th, 11th, what was it? So as this price went into this region, so got long there. I added more down here, and then I added the last bit of my positions down here at this current price. So here, here, and here. So I just basically bought it at support. This only works if you think that price is going to go up long term. If it does go up long term, my position average is about 138 on these right here. So that's it has to go there for me to get back to break even on all my trades. I'm down hundreds of thousands of dollars since all those little drops have happened. But last year in crypto alone, like not counting forex, not counting stocks, not counting anything else, last year just in crypto I made 1.95 million. And I posted my actual Coinbase account, and I believe I made a video about it too. If you go and check into like December and January of 2025, January 2026, You can see like I posted my Coinbase account. I made a YouTube video about it showing it like the realized P&L. So it's like, it was just under 2 million last year. So I've given back at this point, about $900,000, which is like half of everything I made made last year in crypto, which really sucks because I've had to pay the taxes on that too. And so now I'm down even more, but it's likely this will come back long-term once we get another bull run. So I'm long on Solana. Risk adjusted, it looks really, really nice. And again, I just use simple support resistance zones. I don't do anything crazy, nothing wild. It's just basic support and resistance. Same thing on crypto for Bitcoin. The only thing is I'm not currently long on Bitcoin, but we have a little support resistance zone right here. I don't know exactly how you draw something like this, maybe something like that. Right, but it is a region where price is like bouncing at. So around the $60,000 area. And then we can also have a bunch of them as we're finding where price could stop as we go down from all this region here. So that's it. That's it for today. I've posted all this in Telegram. I'll continue to post. So again, make sure you're in my Telegram channel. You can click the link in the description or the pinned comment. You can check it out if you're not in the Telegram channel. Follow my analysis for free. And then I have my Discord channel where I actually call my live trades out for free. I post a link in the Telegram channel from time to time if you want to join the Discord. So you can just join the Telegram channel, look at it for free, kind of get a feel for the way I trade. Then if you want to join the Discord to follow my live trades, you can find the link here in the Telegram channel. I post it in here maybe like once or twice a week. So without further ado, happy trading. If you ended up hitting the like button on this video, thank you. Really appreciate that. And I will see you in the next one, my friend. Cheers.